What's up, guys? Nethervvoid here with a new game, Civilization Beyond Earth, a brand new game out by Sid Meier, the Sid Meier series here, Civilization series. Really awesome game. I've actually played a couple of games, one up to 150, turn 150 or so, and the other one just to turn 85, just kind of get used to the game and everything. If you played Civilization 5, you will know this game really well, and so that's why I didn't feel like I had a need to play it much longer than that. But what I did play was very, very awesome. We're going to talk about that as we go through episode 1 of my Let's Play here. So let's get started into a world here. We're going to go with setup game. I've already kind of set everything up. I actually recorded episode 1 and 2, and episode 1 kind of freaked out on me, so I'm re-recording it. Mercury, game pace epic. That will slow the game down a little bit because I'm on a longer game. Mercury is normal difficulty. And I'm going to go with massive world. I tried the standard world, and it felt too small for me. I like to spread out a little bit before I meet people. So as you should know, if you've been watching my channel, I prefer total annihilation, so I'm going to go with Brasilia. Units have 10% strength in melee combat. This is the only military bonus corporation or whatever here. So choose colonist type. I'm going to go with science would be good, but these seem really small. 2 production in science and food in each city is not very much. This really helps when you start a new city. It's really what it does. Since health is like happiness, it's very hard to come by if you remember in Civilization 5. So I'm going to go with 2 culture and health. That'll help my cities grow automatically, as well as far as this game is all based off the Civilization 5 engine. So it has hexes, it has the hex grid. Military units don't stack, and it uses a culture system just like Civ 5 and stuff like that. So that's why I chose that, and also the happiness system. Choose spacecraft. So I tried retrograde thrusters, which actually allows you to have a larger space to choose from for your initial city. That was nice, but I think Reveals Coast is the best for strategy. You can see choke points in continents and things like that, and I just think it's best all around bonus here. The other ones don't seem like they're that big of a deal. Alien Nest is another thing that's like seeing barbarian cities, kind of not that helpful, I don't think, but definitely seeing the coast is very helpful. It feels kind of overpowered, actually. Choose cargo. Begin with an extra population. Begin with a pioneering technology. Begin with clinical building in your first city. I think worker is the best here. Soldier is another choice because it's nice to get right to building buildings and stuff. And you have your worker already, can start improving your area, and I think it's a better jump start. So we're going to go with that. And then choose a planet. Really all you can do, like rescan for planets, all it does is change the name. So we got continents basically here. Pangea, which is 1 large continent. That'd be great if I didn't want any maritime action. A bunch of tiny islands. I don't like this because there almost are no land battles. I don't really like that world. I'm going to go with advanced worlds in Archipelago. What this does is there are some small islands and some slightly larger ones, but there's going to be a lot of naval combat, which I think is cool. I always felt like in the previous Civs, when you go for continents, there's not enough naval battles. There's almost no reason to have a nice navy and stuff and have any navy strategy. So I'm going to go with that. It's going to advanced setup. This should be pretty familiar if you're familiar with Civilization 5. You can see all the things that I picked up to right here, where you can see you can start changing the map a little bit. I'm going to go with only domination victory. I don't care about all these other pansy ones. I just want to kill everyone. That's one of my favorite things to do in Civ. Allow virtue deferral means that if I don't pick a virtue when I have the amount of points I need to pick one, I can still accumulate virtue. Virtue is the from Civ 5. It's the culture system. I can keep building that up and not have to spend it. I can spend it all at once if I want. It's not really worth it to do that, but you could do it. So start game. So like I did with Endless Legend, I had a really good format, I think, for doing like a first look. And I'm going to cut it right here because this is where the video and the audio get kind of out of sync. Hold on, I'll be right back. Mark. Okay, we're back, and the reason I cut the video right there is because when it's generating the world, I noticed in the first episode, and that's why I had to throw it away. That's part of the reason anyway. It lags the video a little bit, and I can't figure out where the video and audio kind of hook up again. So instead, I'm going to... Okay, apparently I'm choosing right there. So anyway, if you saw the little ring, you get to choose anywhere in that little ring to land your first city. So it's probably where I would have picked anyway. It's fine. So I've got my first city down, and now you can see, as you can see, I can see all of the, yeah, I don't need that, thanks. I can see all of the coastline, so that's really cool. My island is very tiny. Oh, no, it's not. But see, here's a choke point. That's a great spot to put a city because I can actually move ships through the cities. Because in these games, they don't have canals. I don't know why they don't. You'd think they would. So, like, here's a great... I could put a canal there and there, right? That would be awesome. Well, they don't have them. So, this will be really interesting, though. The land masses are very interesting. I like Archipelago. Cool. Alright, so I've got my first city. And I want to kind of start talking about, like I did in Endless Legend, the pros and cons of the game, the good parts, the bad parts that I've seen so far in the game. First, let's go with... what's this? Plantation, huh? Increase the food. Let's go with... Yeah, let's start working this, and let's start moving around and kind of exploring. So there we go, resource pod. That's kind of neat. That's like the ancient ruins from Civilization. You can get extra resources and science and stuff out of that. So one of the things right off the bat that I really like about this, Civilization Beyond Earth, is I really feel like this is a pretty alien planet. Okay, I mean, look at the weird trees and stuff. Everything's kind of odd. It's not too weird. I think there's a big balance between not being too weird, but still being different than Earth, right? Another thing I like is this miasma they have. It's like a gas that comes up from the planet, and you can clear it, but it does damage to human units and stuff, right? But it really makes it feel kind of alien. Now, the aliens actually heal inside of that gas, so again, another nice cool mechanic, and you can terraform the gas away, which kind of makes it feel like, yeah, I'm on Earth, kind of. Or, I'm on an alien planet, and I'm terraforming it. Floatstone, and that's kind of a strategic resource, so that's kind of neat. It has its own strategic resources here. So the aliens feel really balanced as well. The aliens are supposed to be like barbarians from Civilization 5, except the aliens are a little more aggressive in this game, and I like that there aren't, I guess it makes more sense to have these aliens and alien nests around, because that would be what it would be like on this kind of a planet that already has life. Unlike barbarians, which, partway through the game start to feel like, why are there barbarians still? There shouldn't be any barbarians, and it doesn't really tie in very well with the game. Whereas alien life forms attacking you and having different alien life forms and stuff really does tie in well with the game, I think. And provides a better challenge than it did in Civilization 5, right off the bat. So I'm going to go with science. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is...
provides a bird's eye view of
the tech web. Okay, and I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but generally I don't like technology webs. Because I just feel like they're too generic. I like trees, especially when you're playing historical games like Civilization, because things are kind of a tree. If I research, I don't know, recycling, it's not going to help me with computers. Okay, that's not really the same thing. The computers are electronics. Recycling is how to take old metals and melt them down and reuse them. So that doesn't really have anything to do with computers. So why would that be on a web? And you can kind of argue that it could still be on a web, but I just think a tree is a little bit better for historical stuff. But this web is actually pretty cool because it has leaves. See this little leaves sticking off here? To get to these, you have to get to this branch. So in a sense, this is a tree and a web put together, which I think is really cool. Because in order to get some of these leaves, you have to go specialize down the branch. So I think it's really neat. You can't get there from any direction but genetics. You have to get genetics to get these other pieces. And I don't want genetics, but I'm actually gonna go with pioneering. And I'll tell you why in a second. So, but I really like that. But because it does add the tree element to the web, which I really like. And I think the web works better for tech games that are futuristic. When you have a tree works better for historical stuff because we know when the printing press came into being. We know when people started using gunpowder. We know the history behind the tech tree. In a futuristic tech tree or alien tech tree, you don't know any of these are not things that, well, I mean, engineering, yeah, that's, some of these are like kind of stuff we have now, but like bionics, augmentation, nanotechnology, robotics, some of these things we have not really acquired yet. We have robotics, but we don't really use them. Well, we do outside of, mass production facilities, but don't really use robotics. There's a couple other small places you'd use them, but there's a lot more of application for robotics that we just are not using yet. fabrication, hypercomputing, just different things that are really kind of on the fringes of our own technology, right? So it kind of makes it easier to have a web. I'm going to go with pioneering because I want to get to allows land units to embark. I'm going to get to planetary survey, and that's because on Archipelago it's really important that your units can leave the island as soon as possible. So I'm going to just beeline it for planetary survey here, and it will help me out a lot. So we've looked at the tech tree now, tech web. I love the leaves. It's one of my favorite parts. And we're going to do production here, which is pretty similar to Civilization 5. So I have 2 buildings unlocked here. You can see I don't have settlers. That comes with pioneering. See, colonist. Okay. And then we also get trade convoys and stuff, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Trade is a lot more. It's a lot bigger deal in this game. It's pretty much works the exact same way as Civ 5 though, but I think it provides bigger bonus earlier on. So I'm gonna go with clinic because I want to get science, and health never hurt. Also, right away you can convert your production into, you know, one of these resources right off the bat. You don't have to have a certain technology to do it, which makes sense. I like that since this is a futuristic game, I shouldn't need to have technologies that really are already discovered really on Earth, right? So it makes sense. I like the way they're doing that. So next turn, so let's start working.
Pods were sent ahead of our journey and contain valuable.
So resource pods are they're basically stuff that was sent ahead by Earth to kind of help out the first explorers here, the first settlers. So we're gonna go grab that. First, we're gonna do plantation because that's gonna make that. If you look up to the top right here, you can see what kind of resources it'll get. Right now, we're getting 1 food, 1 production out of that, and it's fungus. It's a special resource. Let's go in and manage. Okay, right now we're using the what is this, fiber, I think, and so we're getting 2 food and a production, but that'll give us 2 food and production again. That'll be a great tile for us. This is actually a pretty good starting spot. It's decent anyway, so let's grab this resource pod.
I have something that needs your attention.
So find artifact. Okay, so here's another cool thing that I was going to talk about anyway, is artifacts. Okay, excavations basically. So the Explorer is a unit everybody knows and not has a love-hate relationship out of Civilization because they're great in the beginning. They have a lot of move points and they're cheap, but they really kind of lose. They have nothing. You have nothing to do with them once they explore for a while. There's really no reason to build an Explorer unit. By the time you could build like chariots or something with 2 move points, it's really. I mean, they can move over any terrain for 1 move point. Not in this game, but in the previous versions they could. That was the only benefit really. In this version, they have these expedition modules. What you can do is you can see there's an icon here. I can construct an expedition here and pull up some kind of special resource, like it could be a crash-landed alien spaceship, and so I get science, or I get an extra person because there were survivors or things like that. So I'm going to beeline it over there and drop this expedition module, and only explorers can do that. So that's kind of neat. Here's an alien life form. He is much stronger than me, so I'm going to not mess with him. Aliens start out very passive in the beginning and start to build up aggression as the game goes on, which I think is really cool. I love how the aliens actually... Barbarians do put some kind of pressure on you in the early game, but I never felt like it connected well with the game. I just felt like it was a good feature, didn't tie in well. Aliens tie in very well to this game, and that's what I really like about them. And they do give you a good challenge up front. And order... Okay, unit needs ordering and order. So... From that pod, I found an old crash-landed satellite with enough jet fuel to get it back in orbit. And that's another thing I want to talk about that's really cool. It's called the orbital layer. So you can launch satellites into orbit. The only thing I don't like about it is satellites can only be launched in a geosynchronous orbit over this city. And here's the area I can put a satellite into right here, right? So let's launch this guy. He'll give me +1 energy to each square that I own. Basically, and the city gets plus 20% energy. Energy is basically gold in this game. So we're going to hit launch, and you can see I can launch and cover. I'll cover basically those 7 tiles and anywhere in that radius. I can't go outside of that radius, right? So I'm just going to go with right here because I only have these 7 tiles anyway. So I've launched my satellite. You'll see it. There we go. Now it's in the orbital layer. It's all set up. Now, satellites don't stay there forever. They do have an orbital period where they'll fall back to Earth because they cannot stay in orbit. And that's normal, I think. Although I thought you could put a satellite into orbit indefinitely. But maybe you can't. Because you need to make minor adjustments to the orbit. Because the orbit is never perfect. Again, the one thing I don't really like is you can't put satellites into orbit that will orbit any direction you want. That kind of will cover an area or something like that. You can only do geosynchronous orbits, which, you know, it is what it is. I just don't like it that much. But now if you go back to the city, you can see I have 1 extra energy on all tiles in that little range there. So that's nice. Okay, so we're going to next turn. So I did talk about the orbital area. It's actually not even on my list. Again, we're going to ignore those guys and go straight for this excavation. That's odd. I didn't get 2 move points. Why not? Okay. It is what it is, apparently. The next thing I like is the affinity and upgrading unit system. And you can see here's another group of aliens. We might have an alien nest on this little continent we've got, this little island. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to set up an excavation. It takes 8 turns. So you can see I'm excavating. So the affinity system and unit upgrades. So the affinity system's up here on the left. There are 3 affinities: supremacy, purity, and harmony. This is a brand new system in Civilization. As you develop technologies, and I think as you do questing, which I'll talk about in a minute, you develop affinities. So we're going to go to upgrade units. Actually, let's look at how you can gain affinities. We'll go to the tech web here. So here's where you can pick up a purity affinity, 1 point, another point there, 1 point for supremacy, and you basically pick a lot of them up on the check tree as you're going along, because the affinity points kind of align to an overall strategy to the game. And supremacy, like it says, devotes itself to further into supremacy, earning points toward upgrades. Supremacy is kind of like a militaristic, authoritative type government system, where harmony is being in harmony with the new planet, so like preserving life forms and trying to take Earth technology and mix it into the countryside, right? I'm not sure what purity is. I'm not exactly sure what purity is. Since I'm militaristic, I'm going to go with supremacy anyway. So let's back out of the web here. But as you gain points, like once I get 1 affinity point, my soldier will upgrade to marine. Okay, so first, these are the melee unit. This is the melee unit, the soldier. I can build this guy now, actually. He's got 2 movement and 10 strength now, okay? Once I get 1 affinity point in any affinity, he will automatically upgrade to marine. So plus 4 strength. He'll have 14 strength and 2 movements. And then I can customize him by picking one of these traits, okay? So either 15% more strength while attacking, or 5% hit points healed when not embarked. So as I gain more affinity points, I can specialize my units further. And this doesn't cost any money, you just automatically get the upgrade, which I think is kind of cool. I understand why you have to pay to upgrade units. I don't know. I did kind of like that from the Civilization because it's realistic, but each one of these units has their own strength, their own traits that are strengths and weaknesses, so you can further customize what kind of military units you want. Like these guys work best when they're alone. 40% when not next to any friendly unit, right? This one's 20% when next to a friendly unit, or 8% per adjacent friendly unit. So these guys like to work in teams, and these guys like to work alone. So it just kind of depends on how you want to work your army. These guys are mainly defending, so if you want to go with a science victory or something like that, you might want to pick the purity affinity, okay? And every unit has this upgrade path. I don't know how we can look at, oh yeah, we can go in here and look at, well now we only have soldier, that's the only thing we have unlocked. But the rover, it's a more of a vehicle unit, it has upgrades just like this path right here. So that's kind of neat, I really like that system. We're going to go with next turn. So yeah, the virtual system, the affinity system, really cool, I really like that. One thing they've kind of added, it seems like, in this version of the game is they've added these cracks, these crevices. They're kind of all over the place. They already have mountains still. You can't see any right now because I haven't discovered any. But they have mountains that block your path, and they have these cracks. And what it does is it makes land combat a lot more interesting, because if you want to attack a city, you have to kind of strategize, how am I going to attack this city? You got to think about where the miasma is, because that will damage your units as they sit in it, and they take a significant amount of damage. It's 10 damage per turn. And then you also have to think about the cracks, where you're going to go, how easily things are to defend, where the mountains are, because if they have units on the mountain, they're going to get more defense, you know, stuff like that. And so I think it adds a real level of strategy, tactical strategy that was really missing in previous civilizations. So I'm really glad they added more of that stuff. Quest completed. Here's the quest system I haven't talked about yet. I do like this. It's brand new.
This may be.
So gifts from home. I already picked up this when I picked up that resource pod. It just says, hey, find 2 resource pods and you'll get something. I don't know what it is, what I'm going to get, but to complete that quest, that's all I need to do. Found an outpost. If I research pioneering, which I'm already doing, build a colonist and found an outpost, I will complete this quest. As far as I know, there's no overarching quest story like there is in Endless Legend, which I really liked. I never completed it, but I liked the idea behind it. That kind of explains why, you know, the backstory of why we're here. Why are we at this planet? I know there's a cutscene in the beginning of the game. I didn't show you the cutscene because it'll probably be copyright, I'm sure. Almost all game cutscenes are. But it kind of explains what's going on in the game, but it would be really nice to have a backstory to go along with it. I really like that Endless Legend did that. Use the quest system that way. So that's kind of another cool system that they've added. Again, not new. A lot of other games have it, but it's still kind of neat. So we're kind of just waiting. I'm building something, and I've got my guy working over here. Really, there's nothing for me to do except wait. So the virtue system is the next thing I'm going to talk about here. We'll just click on it. The virtue system is a lot like the culture system from Civilization 5. And the one thing I do like about it, though, is you can see there are trees just like Civ 5. I think there are more virtues in each tree, which is cool. But I also like that there are bonuses from getting like a lot of tier 1 virtues. So if I get 5 tier 1 virtues, I get 1 more free virtue. If I get 10, I get 10% production in the capital and 10% energy in the capital. And I like that the bonuses are fairly large. 10% in your capital is huge. That's giant. They also have a lot of bonuses up top. If I get 5 might, I get 5% strength and range strength for all units. That's awesome. If I get 10, I get another 5%. And I get 1 in free affinity for getting 15. So that's kind of neat. There are also bonuses. No, I think these are the bonuses. Okay. So 10% culture in every city. That is giant. And so look, as well, a lot of the virtues are very strong. Like 10% science when healthy. Everyone's going to get that. Some of them, I think some of the really strong ones are too early on the tree. I think that should be maybe way down here, right? You should have to go into knowledge pretty far to get 10% science in all your cities when healthy. This one's 50% XP from combat for all units. Why would it? Everybody's going to pick this up. You'd be stupid not to. And so I think it should be deeper on the tree. You should be more heavily invested to get that. It's too good. 10% production toward all buildings. Again, too good. It needs to be deeper in the tree. So I think that this is but it's a really fun system. I really like it. It's again enhanced over the Civ 5 system, which I already thought was pretty good. So let's keep hitting next turn here. Now, the episode 2 and beyond will not be me talking about the game, what I like and don't like about it. So that'll be a little bit easier to sit through. This is really kind of a first look / episode 1 of my Let's Play. I like to do it both at the same time on my first episode to kind of give people a feel of the game. Each episode of mine will be 30 minutes long. I'm going to try to do about 4 episodes a week, just like I did Endless Legend. I thought that was really good. Got me through the game. I finished Endless Legend, and it's perfect timing because now this game came out and I can actually play it and not be so bogged down. Okay, so we're going to keep hitting next turn here. Last on my list of things I really like is the starting bonuses are actually worthwhile. Like this coastal thing, that's a huge advantage. In fact, it might be a little OP to know where all the coast lines are. But they're a great advantage. 1 health in every city, that is a big advantage. So I really like that. So I've developed a virtue. Everybody else is still working. So the first thing I'm going to get is science, 10% science when healthy, because science is very, very important. As everybody should already know if you play Civilization. Any of these 4X games, science, research is very, very important. I like to take my time and get a tech advantage over my enemies.
Something wonderful. There are many more sites like this
So
to
we don't care about
investigate
that.
around the world. So you might want to consider building
So-
additional
So another cool thing about... So I think that was the problem. We had 2 things going on at once. So expedition completed. When exploring the ruins, several members of my expedition team were struck simultaneously with a powerful vision depicting the construction of a towering device, blah, blah, blah. The vision was so detailed, the expedition team was able to share some of the secrets with your people as a whole, granting a free level up and an affinity. Very, very cool. So doing that expedition granted me a free affinity point. So I'm going to go get it. I'm going to get Supremacy. Explorer. Now, with one affinity point in Supremacy, Explorer units can build an additional expedition. So that's kind of cool. Now that my guy's out, and I'll tell you how to refresh him in a second. Aliens will not attack tiles with Explorers. That's kind of neat. Alien aggression level returns to neutral twice as quickly. That's cool. So if you attack aliens, they become more aggressive to you. That's kind of neat. I don't think it tells you how aggressive they are. You just have to kind of guess. But again, I'm going with Supremacy because it mostly supports. It mostly supports a militaristic camp style game, which is what I'm going to go for. Explorer units can build an additional expedition. New upgrades are available for my units. So I've got the Marine upgrade here. I'm going to select my perk. I'm going to go with attacking, 15% when attacking, because I'm going to be attacking a lot, hopefully. And now he's got that special ability at all times. And he's got 14 strength. So you can see they physically change what they look like as well, which is really, really cool. And I automatically get that. So to resupply, well, now he's got an extra one because I have two. I have that Supremacy level. But to resupply this guy, I'm just going to go back to the city. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go after this pod. So let's do that. Let's retool that guy there. Okay, so that guy's done. If we go in here, we can see there's another food there. That's cool. So we're going to keep... You know what? I want to build a mine because I really want to get my production going. So that's pretty much all I have for what's cool. Let me look over the system here. Make sure there isn't anything else that I'm missing as far as what I like. I know there's a couple things that will come up. I think I've pretty much covered everything. The covert ops system feels a little bit better because of what you can do in different cities. You can steal science just directly. They take like 100 science and put it into your research. You can do dirty bombs, explode other people's towns, and different stuff like that. And if you don't feel like sending your spies out, you can actually get bonuses by leaving them at the headquarters, like +2 health per spy and things like that, which I think is really cool. And also, I think the spy network starts off earlier in the game, which is really nice because it starts out too late in the previous games, in my opinion. I just kind of don't care about it as much because it starts so much later. So pretty much through, and really do like this game a lot. There's a lot more bonuses than negatives. There's a lot more pros than cons. But yes, this is built off the Civilization 5 engine, and you can already see it's almost exactly like Civilization 5. It has a hex grid. The units move the same. The graphics are very similar. I mean, they don't look the same, but they're built in a similar way. Combat is the same. You'll see the GUI is very similar. But overall, I'm really pleased with the game. Somebody said you could probably do this with a mod to Civ 5, and you probably can, actually. But again, it feels like a different enough game that it's worth the $50 purchase. It's a brand new game. And it has a few extra cool systems, which I think makes it worthwhile as far as a full purchase. So we're going to end turn here. And we're going to move this guy. That's really nice to see. Firaxite sometimes it's hard to get, and it's used in a lot of different things. So we're going to go back and get myself another expedition module here. And this guy's going to start building... unit needs orders. Yeah, I want you to build a mine. It's going to get us some more production. So things I don't like about this thing. I don't like... Oh, I forgot to talk about this. They have a staggered start in this game, which is really cool. Again, it ties right into kind of what's going on in this game, where humans are leaving Earth for the first time to explore a new world. They don't all get here at the same time. They've all decided to explore the same world because it has the best chances to find the life that we need and to provide a world that can sustain humans. But we don't all get here at the same time. Projects have different timelines, right? And so this thing is perfect with the staggered start. Now, I'm pretty sure that, for one thing, I think you as a player always start first. I'm pretty sure. But I also think that since they're staggering their start, they get a better starting location. I'm pretty sure. Like, this is a little bit better place to start as far as putting a city. Well, not really. I think the landmass is the same. But they might have better bonus tiles and stuff like that. So I've got another virtue. I'm going to go with... I'm trying to beeline it to this cohesive values, negative 10% culture needed for each virtue. It's like getting a bonus to science in a sense, because I can get virtues faster. So this kind of stinks. I could have got 45 science from finishing that expedition. But, oh well. Next time I'll get it. Quest decision. So quests also change you get to everything in this game almost is customizable. You get to pick the path you want to take for the kind of victory you're really going for. So this says there's an outbreak, right? There's an outbreak of exotic. Let's see, when we became this planet, we brought a number of plants from Earth. Somehow one of these plants has taken root outside of Citadella and turned invasive. If left unchecked, it could convert the local environment into a more Earth-like ecosystem. Whether or not this is a good thing must be decided. So you can decide to contain it or ignore it. Containing it will give you, I don't know if it gives you harmony affinity point, but it goes down the harmony path. But if you ignore it, you're going down the purity path or the supremacy path. So I'm going to go with supremacy here. I received 15 culture just for completing that quest. That's cool. Again, let's get on to stuff I don't like. I don't like that it picks your location for you. Such a tight location in the beginning. I like to be able to pick my starting locations because it's very important where you start. The only nice thing is you start building stuff immediately. You don't have to wait 2 or 3 turns to settle your town and kind of start behind, right? That's kind of annoying. So I do like that, but they have weird starting positions. I guess it is what it is. What are you going to do? I got really lucky that I could start next to water since I'm on an archipelago, right? So I'm done. I built whatever that was, the clinic. I'm going to work on... I got 13 more turns to get pioneering, so I'm going to work on the old Earth relic. Then I'll probably work on another explorer so I can get to exploring these other islands and stuff pretty quick. Quest decision again. Now I just start looking. Okay, I'm going to go with supremacy. The invasion plant has begun to spread, eliminating other resources from the surrounding land. However, the species is shown to be a great potential crop, as it grows faster and larger than it ever did on Earth. Scientists believe that through low-level genetic modification, the plant can be made to serve as either food or energy. We simply must decide. So, is it food, which is purity, or energy, which is supremacy? I'm going to go with supremacy. I don't really know what that does. It doesn't really tell you. Another quest decision. So, I'm not going to read all these quests. I'm just going to kind of work through them here because it takes too long. So, 15% 15 city hit points from cities, or do I want 1 health from clinics? I definitely want 1 health from clinics because health is so hard to come by. It's a big factor in expansion. It slows your expansion down, so I always like as much health, or if you know the happiness system, it's happiness. I want as much as possible. So a unit needs orders. I refilled my modules, and now it's time to move out again. So I've pretty much looked over in that area. Let's go down this direction. And there we go. They need more specializations, I think, in the tiles and the biomes. There are not enough. The biomes they feel too random. It's like, I don't know. I liked seeing huge swaths of desert and huge areas of jungle or forest, because that's more like how planets really are. They don't have patchy biomes everywhere. If you look at my place here, they're like grasslands and forests and mountains and everything. It's like it, and then cracks, and then inside lakes, these freshwater lakes and stuff. It's just too spread out. I mean, it's too random. I would rather see it more customized, so that you can customize your cities more. You might found a city in an area that's high production, so that you can focus mainly there on building units or something like that, right? You don't focus on science here because there's no science, so you skip science buildings. You mainly construct factories there and military things to build up XP for your units and things like that. I think they need more specialization. I know a lot of people complain about that in 4X games. That, hey, there's not enough specialization in this game, and I'm getting kind of annoyed. That's pretty normal, I think, a more normal gripe. So a lot of people are landing now, and I just say goodbye to these people. I don't really care who they are. And one thing is also the game feels kind of small for some reason, but it might be because I tested it on standard. I'm feeling with this larger size that the game is a little bit bigger, more spread out, so I'm not... So there's a nest. I knew there was a nest close by. This guy will continue to pop out new aliens until I kill it. It's going to be pretty hard to kill that. That'll be where my military focuses on first, which will be kind of fun. I get to start out fighting right away because I really love to fight. It's one of my favorite things to do in these games. So I'm going to get out of here. Again, these guys don't have the bonus that other explorers have where they get, you know, all terrain is one move, which would be nice to have. But, oh no, please don't kill me. So they didn't kill me, but I got hurt pretty bad. Probably because I'm close to the nest. I wonder if I can destroy the nest right now. I'm not going to do it. So, it's been... Okay, toxic... Oh, I stopped a miasma. So, this is going to do 10 damage to me now, which is going to hurt pretty bad since I'm already pretty damaged. So, it is what it is. Oh, well. But I'm probably going to want to put a city there. That's probably where my second city is, so I can pass boats through here. That's a really good spot to put a city. In fact, it's the best spot on this whole island right here. So, on this continent. So watch what's going to happen. I'll take 10 damage from the miasma. There are ways to clear that out, but I don't have that technology yet. And we're up against the 30-minute mark, but I'm going to keep going a little bit here to talk about a couple of other things. The alien strategic resources, quote-unquote, they feel kind of bland because I have no history with them. I have no idea what floatstone is, okay? If this was oil, I know what oil is. I know what it's used for. Another one is, you know, uranium. I know what uranium is. I know what it's used for. I kind of know in history when it was discovered or became useful, really. But with the alien strategic resources, I don't care what they are because I really don't know what they are and what they're used for. I haven't played the game enough to know or care. So it feels a little bland. Maybe they could have put a little bit of work into maybe some more obvious strategic resources on what they'd be used for, or something like that. That could be kind of cool. But, you know, it is what it is. Not a huge thing, not a huge detractor or anything. So anyway, that's what I think about this game. I really like this game. You're going to see 4 episodes a week. I'm going to try to get 4 episodes out this week, but it's going to be kind of hard since I'm starting kind of late in the week, since episodes 1 and 2 kind of got jacked up. So I'm having to re-record them. Tell me what you think about Civilization Beyond Earth. You can get it on Steam for $50 right now. It's a really awesome game, and I hope you play along with me. Let me know if you are. Like and favorite and share this video if you like it. It really helps the channel and myself and helps me bring more of these new games to you. And pretty much validates the reason I'm doing this. So anyway, till next time, hopefully tomorrow. I'll have episode 2 up hopefully tomorrow. See you guys next time, and stay frosty.